Hi guys, TechBoy here with another video. This video is all about the predictions for upcoming events in May and June 2013. There's particularly 4 events coming up soon that I just quickly wanted to make a quick video about that's highlighting all of these events coming up. Just in case some of you didn't know that these events were coming up, and just to give you a brief idea of what I am expecting from all of these events. So, let's get started. All of the events that are coming up and that I will be talking about during this video include the next Xbox announcement, which is happening in May, the All Things Digital Conference 11, which I'll explain in more detail when I get to it, which is also happening in May, and then in June we have Apple's Worldwide Developer Conference for 2013, and also the biggest one of them all, E3 2013. And if you click on each of these now, and yes, turn on your annotations if you've turned it off, it will skip straight to the point where each of those will be coming up. So I presume you've stayed on and you're curious to know about the next Xbox. Let's get started. So this is going to be talking about the future of Xbox in what I see going to be happening and all that. So let's get to the details. It's going to be on May 21st at 10 AM Pacific Daylight Time in America, and it's held at Microsoft's Redmond, Washington campus. It will be streamed live as per the ad that came up for it. Now, what am I expecting from this console? I've never really had any high expectations for Microsoft themselves, mostly because I don't follow them that much, but I just thought I'd give you some general thoughts that came into my head when I was making this video. First of all, the name of the new console. Everybody's saying it's going to be called the Xbox 720, and just recently Microsoft came out and bought a lot of web domain names with the name Fusion in it, so people are saying it could be called Xbox Fusion. So who knows what it's going to be called, but time will tell. And Blu-ray support, because I believe Microsoft was responsible for making HD DVD, which was a rival to Blu-ray, but obviously they lost that battle, so I would assume Blu-ray support will come to it. Also being backwards compatible with Xbox 360 games, a user interface that has some resemblance to Windows 8 in terms of Metro and all that, but it's not called Metro anymore because Microsoft lost a court case to a German company over the word Metro itself, so it's just called Windows 8 home screen or whatever it is now, but you get what I mean. Also 4K support, we're not sure if it's going to work for games or not, because as far as I know now, the PlayStation 4 is going to have 4K support and output in 4K for movies, but they haven't said if it's going to work for games yet, so time will tell. Hopefully it will be a good selling point for the system. And also a similar controller to Xbox 360, but it might inherit features that the PS4 controller has. For example, the share button. It may have the touchpad or something, for example, but who knows, time will tell. And other details like storage, specs, the launch lineup of games will possibly be announced at E3 2013. So that's with that one. Let's go on to All Things D11, which is the next coming up conference, with Walt Mossberg being one of the hosts, who works for the Wall Street Journal as a journalist, and they always have these interviews every year with all the top executives from all of these major tech firms, and last year's one with Tim Cook was very particularly interesting because it was the first time Tim Cook ever gave a presentation to these people to be able to talk about all these general topics and all that, as I'll explain in a minute. But Steve Jobs used to do this for several years, and this will be the second time Tim Cook's done it. So what are we expecting from this? Well, let's get to the details. First of all, it is on Tuesday the 28th of May until Thursday the 30th of May, and it's based in California. Tim Cook is on the opening night, which is Tuesday the 28th of May. So what am I expecting them to be talking about with him on stage? First of all, heads for WWDC 2013. Last year when Tim Cook came on the stage and was just talking about in general and all that. This was only a couple of weeks before WWDC 2012, which has happened exactly the same again for this year. And basically, he was giving away leaks that Facebook is a great company and they're looking into stuff, and then a couple of weeks later, boom, Facebook integration. So it was almost like a subtle hint that yes, we have been talking about it, we know all about it, and yes, here it is. So hopefully we could get a few small sneak peeks in terms of what's coming in the next operating system, iOS and Mac and stuff like that. Explaining why no new products have come out so far this year. It's only a possibility, but he'll probably just come out and say we have a lot of stuff to come out in the fall this year, meaning September, October time frame and all that, and all of 2014, so expect great things. And he'll probably carry on about that. The Apple TV set, all the rumours about that, and all of that in general. And Apple's iRadio music streaming service, which has been long rumoured because Apple's trying to get the rights from all of these major record companies to be able to have this streaming service like Pandora or Spotify, but Apple is going to have to pay these companies a certain amount of money per so many songs. When it first came out, Apple was only going to pay like 6 cents for every 100 songs played, but now the rates are believed to be up with Pandora, so it's only a matter of time until it comes out. The iPad mini cannibalising the 4th gen iPad sales, because the iPad mini is presumably going to make up for a lot of the iPad sales in general, because they don't say how many of the mini they've sold and how many of the normal iPad they've sold, like they do with the iPod lineup and all that. So with the younger price point and all that, and explain all of that stuff. The rearrangement of the board includes Scott Forstall's departure and the fact that Johnny Ive is now head of design for software, which will be majorly influenced in iOS 7, we all believe. And Apple's Maps and it being improved because it was only just after this conference last year when they first announced Apple's Maps, and that it all went from there. A larger screen iPhone, and why Apple hasn't done it yet, so he'll probably talk about the trade-offs and all that. The cheaper iPhone in developing markets like China and India, for example, because Nokia came out the other day and launched a smartphone that was like a 3-inch touchscreen and extremely low resolution and a very ordinary camera for $99. So Apple's probably going to have to do this at some point in time, but it's a matter of when and how are they going to get it to such a low price point to be able to compete against people like Nokia and Samsung, HTC and all of them, if they're all deciding to go into developing markets. And it always concludes with questions and answers from the press members. So let's move along to WWDC 2013. So what are the details going to be for this? Monday, June the 10th until Friday, June the 14th at San Francisco time. I just included the image on the right there because I thought it was partially relevant to iOS 7 and what he's going to be doing and all of that, as I explained just before. But what got me was how quick did the tickets sell out? In 2010, because only developers could get access to the tickets to be able to get in, because it's a worldwide developers conference, it sold out in 8 days in 2010, which was when the iPhone 4 was announced. In 2011, it was just under 12 hours, which is when macOS 10, Lion, iOS 5, and iCloud was announced. And then last year, it was just under 143 minutes. Now, for 2013, you expect it to be just a little bit faster than that. Maybe under an hour, maybe half an hour, being such high demand. Nope, you're completely wrong. Under 2 minutes. If everybody's coming out now and they're saying Apple is doomed, they're not innovating, they're not bringing out any products or anything like that, how come is there is such a high demand to get into all of these developer conferences and all that, and particularly this year of all years, which it's mostly believed to be because of iOS 7 and the huge influence it will have and the what impact on developers and having to change apps and stuff like that. So what am I expecting at WWDC this year? This is probably no particular order, but I thought I'd just do it in a rough order just in case of the off chance it does actually happen. First off, macOS 10 10.9. I'm going to say that it's going to be called Cougar, just to be another cat name that hasn't been used yet. What am I expecting from the next OS 10? Apple's Maps integration, presumably once they get that to be more reliable and up to date and accurate. Siri to be on the side so you could use it in general, and more features that can come from iOS. iOS 7 is going to be the biggest highlight of WWDC, no questions asked. If you look at the logo at the moment, you can see how simple and plain it looks with the overlapping thing. That's because iOS 7 is supposed to take a more simpler approach and move away from all the stuff like a traditional notepad for the background and looking like a proper notebook thing for a calendar or anything like that to make it look completely different. I'll leave a link in the description for you to have a look at the top 10 iOS 7 predictions video. And the final thing I'm expecting from WWDC is Apple's iRadio service, and they'll probably talk about all the bells and whistles to come with it and being a part of iOS 7. Like iCloud was to iOS 5, iRadio is probably going to be to iOS 7. So it's only a matter of time until they announce it, and it will probably only come out if Apple could sign up all these deals with all the major record companies. And finally, the biggest one of them all, a lot of people are saying, it's probably on par with WWDC in my opinion, is E3 2013. So let's get to the details. First of all, it is Tuesday, June 11th to Thursday, June 13th in Los Angeles time. It'll obviously be different in Australia. And what are the highlights going to be? The three major highlights are Nintendo's new approach to E3. I'll explain more about that in just a minute. Sony's PS4 with more details in general. And Microsoft's next box. I really mean the next Xbox, with more details coming out about it. So, to talk about each of these, let's start off with Nintendo. So, the biggest highlight for Nintendo will be there's going to be no E3 press conference. Every year, they come out and they always announce something major and revolutionary and all that. So, they use these conferences to announce the 3DS, the DS, the Wii U, all of that. And last year they spent the majority of that time talking about the Wii U and what it will be able to do and its launch lineup and all that, because it only came out late last year. But why has Nintendo gone down an entirely different route? So I thought I'd just list a few points and work you through them. Smaller scale presentation like the 3DS press conference last year at E3 is all it really needs, because that just got as much reception as it needs to, but it's on a much smaller scale. Maybe they're just cutting back on budget and all that, or it could be something to do with the PS4 and the next Xbox and all that coming out, so there's no point putting time and money into doing a press conference if there's a good chance they're probably not going to win E3 if people were going to talk into that context. Nintendo's Direct videos will probably be launched around E3, so they'll release videos then, probably talk about all the new games that are going to be coming out and all that, in time for all these people that have the rights to get into E3 2013 to be able to play all of these new games. It's not a bad thing, but Nintendo will probably see the less attention to the media because they haven't got a huge press conference, but that's not the biggest problem. The problem is Nintendo needs to use these Nintendo Direct videos and target them towards the audience in general, because they're the ones that are going to end up buying the games, not the media. And also, there's probably going to be a strong focus on the general public themselves, as they'll be the target audience. I just said that. And all the games will be playable at E3, but only members of the media will obviously get access to them. So moving right along, the games and other announcements that I'm expecting from Nintendo via these Nintendo Direct episode videos coming out include Mario, a 3D game for Mario, which is rumoured to come out by October 2013, Mario Kart Wii U, Super Smash Bros. U, also being compatible for the Nintendo 3DS and being cross-platform and play with each other, Wii Fit U, a lot of U's in that, Pikmin 3 possibly announce the launch date, because they said they'll announce more details getting closer to the launch day itself. Your Yoshi, a brand new Zelda Wii U game, even if it's just a sneak peek. Games that take advantage of near-field communication, such as Pokemon Rumble U. A new game that we did not see coming, maybe Donkey Kong or Star Fox, Metroid, who knows. Amiiverse smartphone application, they've already got it out where you can go into the web browser and do it all through there, and then if you got it on your iPhone or Android device or anything like that, you can probably save a link for it to your home screen so it acts like a shortcut, but they'll probably bring out a hybrid application where you've got an actual app on the device, but all of the latest data and all that will be fetched over the internet to come to your device when you go to use it. Also, Miiverse for the 3DS, and the Wii U Summer System update as a speed boost, extra features in general, just to make it a bit more popular. And next is Sony. So what am I expecting from Sony at E3? To show the unit itself. It got everyone mad how they did not show the balloon system itself when the PS4 was announced. Do you think if it was in production for so many years that they would have showed at least what it looks like, even if they can't announce the configurations inside it, etc., etc.? But I have to assume that this will be happening. Also, more details on lineup of games, a more precise launch date, maybe if they just say in November or something like that. I don't know if it will be or not, I'm just saying it could possibly be announced to come out in November, for example, so they can target towards Christmas buyers and all that. Explaining the 4K support, if it will support games, movies, other content. Demonstrating uses for the touchpad, because they didn't do that well when they first announced the PS4. But what I'm not expecting from Sony is exact release date, right down to the very day, and in all of the countries, and the exact price and all that. They'll announce all of that closer to the actual day itself. And Microsoft, finally, what am I expecting? Games. It's as simple as that. If Microsoft's going to have a press conference a couple of weeks before E3, they'll presumably talk about hardware and all that, because it's a new system. And then being E3, being a strong focus on games, that's when they'll probably talk about all the games and all that, and everyone can get hold of them and have a go of them and all that. Connect 2 and being explained how it is to be better than the original Connect. Details on the configurations that are available, it's only a possibility, but who knows. And a more accurate launch date, probably down to the month, who knows. It's probably not going to be announced if this conference is going to be so close to the one at the end of May that Microsoft themselves are going to have, but who knows, it is a possibility, so time will tell for all of these rumours and speculations that are going around. So thank you very much for watching, I appreciate the support. The question for you, the audience, is which of these upcoming events are you most looking forward to and why? And also the other question I had was, I'm looking to expand my channel when it starts to grow a little bit more, possibly via Google+, Facebook, Twitter, or any other social network, but I assume I would go down one of those paths. Which of those would you most prefer me to do all my social networking on and all that? So if something major gets announced and I haven't got time to make a video on it, I could just do a little quick status update and it will come to your news feed or something like that. And also to let you know when I've got a new video out and all that, so you don't have to check my channel every 2 seconds. So you can let me know by leaving a comment in the section below. And if you enjoyed this, please give it a like. And if you choose to, subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you later.